Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with my favorite Age of Apocalypse figure thus far. This is the Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure Wave X-Men Shadowcat. And even in this universe and the 616 universe, I love Kitty Pryde. So to see her as a badass, absolutely spectacular. We see her in the window here. Love the little Age of Apocalypse Spot Varnish logo there. The artist rendition, not too bad. I like that they kept this consecutive along with the Sugarman wave. Come around to the back. The artist rendition there looks really good. Get a read up, so I'll get a close up so you can see that at your convenience. The same with the figures from the wave so you can see what you need to build Colossus. Come back around this way, same artist rendition. Nothing on the bottom. So with that said, is this figure awesome or not? So let's get Kat out and get a closer look at her. And here's Kat out of the packaging, and as you can see, you start posing her, moving her articulation around, and she just starts to look badass, like she just jumped off the pages of Generation Next from Age of Apocalypse. That is to say that there are maybe a couple of things that really irk me about this figure, but not enough for me to completely just toss it aside and be like, nah, I'm not ever touching that one again. There's something special about it, and it may just be the nostalgia. So why don't we get her off the spinner and let's explore those thoughts together. Now before we get started, quick backstory. Katherine and Kitty Pryde was created by John Byrne and Chris Claremont. Her first Earth 616 appearance was Uncanny X-Men 129 from January of 1980. However, due to the events of Legion Quest, this timeline no longer exists. Her first Earth 295, which is the Age of Apocalypse appearance, was Generation Next #1 from January 1995. In this universe, Katherine Pryde lived in the suburbs of Illinois, which was Deerhead, and kept her mutant abilities a secret. When Apocalypse began gathering mutants, his troops, the Infinites, came to her door to take her away. Her parents protest, and they were murdered because of it. Kat phased out of the house and ran. During a mutant sweep in the ruins of Chicago, she was discovered and captured by Sabretooth, because remember, he was one of, Apocalypse's horsemen before he joined the X-Men. Now, before Creed could deliver her back to Apocalypse, Colossus freed her. She was trained by Weapon X, Logan, who was secretly preparing her to become the X-Men's ghost assassin. She donned metallic claws similar to Logan's, and taking to her training very readily. Now, when Logan and Jean left the X-Men, Kat lost her mentor and began to question her role on the team. She turned to Colossus, and they developed a strong relationship and eventually married. Now, they don't say how long afterwards, but Colossus would eventually give up fighting. He just didn't see the point anymore. And him and Kitty were ready to leave. But before they could, Magneto offered them both the opportunity to train the next team of X-Men, Generation Next. This happened in X-Men AOA one-shot. Now, when Magneto discovered Bishop and found that the reality they lived in was broken, he tasked the Generation Next team to save Colossus's sister Ileana from the Seattle core. The ending to Generation Next is heartbreaking, devastating, as well as Kat and Peter's fates in X-Men Omega. I highly recommend checking the books out. They are excellent reads. Now, if you want to read more on this version of Shadowcat's backstory, I left a link in the description where you can read about her backstory, as I just said. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about this figure. Overall, I'm absolutely happy with it. I love that she kind of just has that embittered look on her face. Though, I will say, I was watching the review from X-Manny86, and he kind of nailed it on the head, because even though it looks decent, I was like, something is off. And he said that she has kind of a stank face. So she's, in this universe, she's more embittered. She's not the happy-go-lucky teen that we know from the original books. But I feel like whenever they did this head, I don't know. If you look at the original product tease for it, I would have taken that, because she has that more feral look, which made sense because she was trained by Logan. But we get this one, and it just, I don't know, it misses the mark, but nonetheless, it does capture her essence. I kind of wish there was a head that had a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, because she did pick up Logan's habit of smoking from training with him. The other thing, talking about accessories, is she does come with 2 sets of bracers. So she gets, these pop off relatively easy, and I like that the claws can go in just like Logan, and then they can pop out just like his adamantium claws do. And what I appreciate about these is the metal, the blades here, they're a lot easier. Like if they start to bend together and look stupid, they're a hell of a lot easier to manipulate compared to the ones that Wolverine always comes with, where they just, no matter what you do, they always look cockeyed, and it's real frustrating. But yeah, she comes with that, and then her left hand, she has an open hand. Her right hand comes with a more of an action open hand, which looks good. Blues match, excellent look there. And then for the claws, she does come with 2 fist hands, which is awesome. So I love that these are easily interchangeable. You take the hand off. Bracer easily comes off of her wrist. And then, you can use the fist hands if you want, or, we could put this open hand back in there, work out the claws a little bit, and look at that. Boom. She's ready to go be the X-Men's secret assassin. And now for the paint apps, other than her face, the hair looks great. I like that necklace that she donned. I don't know if maybe that's supposed to be like cat, have like a cat bell type thing. I don't know. The blue uniform in and of itself, comic accurate. Love the armbands that she wore. Just, I don't know, just added a whole different filter, because when you read Generation X, she's such, oh man, she just really took Logan's personality to the next level, and it shows in the books. Skin looks great, muscle tones look awesome in the back. Love the belt with, of course, the trademark X, and then because this came out in 95, got to have the big-ass pockets. Now, if these legs look familiar, I believe these are the Lady Deathstrike ones from the supervillain line. And if you notice, what makes Kat stand out amongst her other Age of Apocalypse members, she's pinless. I wish that this would start become a factory standard on all modern X-Men, or should I just say Marvel Legends in general, because that just looks absolutely great. So yeah, other than I wish that the head sculpt was done a little bit better, overall she just captures that look like she just jumped out of the pages. And probably so far my favorite, like not in terms of the Build-A-Figure, but the figures that have come out, she's definitely up there. But then again, I've always liked Colossus and Shadowcat. For the articulation, put her arm down. The only thing is that she has a bit of a gap, so you really have to play around with that. That's sort of frustrating, but at least you get a decent range. You can look that way, and you get a lot of play, so you can really get that dynamic range rocking there. Arms, 360, up that way, double jointed elbows, which I'm thankful for. Wrists, even with the claws, can spin 360, go down. Can kind of go up even with the blades, but it runs into it. It looks ridiculous that way, so do it at your discretion. She bends at the elbow, so you got that going on. She doesn't twist at the waist. She does from the solar plex, so boop, boop. Can't go forward too much. Can go backwards, so at least you can get some good, jumping action going on that way. Legs go out that far. Kick out that far. Double jointed knees. Foot goes up, foot goes down. Has the rocker, so you can do that. Then, of course, the butt flap. Can't go back, so I wish that they would really kind of follow McFarlane Toys on that, because that is so frustrating. But yeah, for the paint apps, gorgeous. Just the face, the stained face. That description just really hit the nail on the head. But overall, trying to avoid that. Love this figure. Love the articulation range. Love the paint ups. I'm really happy. Here's Shadowcat next to the rest of the wave that we've gone over thus far. Though, looking at it now, the one I did forget to pull down was the Age of Apocalypse Iceman that we've also gone over. But here's the Rogue from the Colossus wave, the awesome Magneto, and then I believe this was a Target exclusive deluxe AOA Apocalypse, and then of course the little turd that started this whole nightmare universe, Legion. So looking at them bunched up together like this, you guys want to do an Age of Apocalypse diorama, y'all are going to have some great figures to choose from, and I'm glad that they've released 2 waves, and I'm hoping beyond hope that we get some more Age of Apocalypse lines, because this to me is still, and I've said this several times, definitive Marvel events, and it was just fun to see what happens with no Charles Xavier, and we got some awesome character designs. I love the brutality of Wolverine, and you can see how it rubbed off on Kitty. You know, Magneto's the leader, and even though has compassion, but still has to be stern, and then Rogue being the wife of Magneto, and them having a son named Charles. It was just a really awesome way to take you out of continuity and just enjoy something special. How do you guys plan on displaying your Age of Apocalypse figures? Let me know down in the comments, and we'd also love to see it on our social media pages. I love this Shadowcat. The Age of Apocalypse has and probably will always be my favorite Marvel event. So to be able to have a tangible, and that's funny because she can become intangible, version of this action figure, it's just so much yes for me. I love that she has the pinless joints. That's what makes her special. Even though they did use the Lady Deathstrike legs, nonetheless, that makes her stand out in this wave to me. However, as we talked about, from the product render that they initially teased, and kind of what I mentioned from X-Manny 86, is I do wish she didn't have that stank face. Instead, I wish she kind of had more of that Wolverine feral roar. Have that one, and then like a more resting face. That'd just been nice to have interchangeable heads. But what you get with her, all the accessories, I'm content and I'm happy to have this in my collection. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if they have her in stock. If not, then you can check out the places we talked about at the beginning of the review. Speaking of, if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little apocalypse bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.